Hello everybody, welcome back to the channel. This is Coast to Coast Sports, and today we're talking about the NFL playoffs. I'm going to give you guys my full NFL playoff picture predictions, starting with the wild card round, going all the way to the Super Bowl, and we're going to use some logic and reason to determine who we think the Super Bowl champion is going to be. So first of all, we're going to start on wild card weekend, obviously starting today, this afternoon. We're going to have live coverage to all of those games, actually, play-by-play audio that I'll be doing. But starting off with the AFC, well, let's do with the NFC. The Eagles and Tampa Bay Buccaneers, they play Monday night, and I'm tempted to pick the Buccaneers in this game. I really am, because the Eagles have been playing really, really poorly. But when you look at what the Bucs have done this season, it's not a whole lot of great stuff. I'm pulling up the Bucs schedule right now because I want to just read this off to you guys. This is the team that we're supposed to pick over the Eagles. Their last few games, they beat the Panthers 9-0, okay? And Baker Mayfield, by the way, dealing with injuries. Before that, they lost to the Saints 23-13. They beat the Jaguars without Trevor Lawrence. It was C.J. Beathard in that game. Then they beat Green Bay. That was their good win. They beat the Falcons by 4. They beat the Panthers again by 3. Lost to the Colts. Blown out by the 49ers. They beat the Titans, who were not good. They lost to the Texans. They lost to the Bills. They lost to the Falcons. They got blown out by the Lions. So, oh, and by the way, they lost by 14 points against the Eagles. So, as much as I'm tempted to pick Tampa Bay, I think they are a bit fraudulent. I don't even think they're the best team in their division. At least in the last month, the Saints have been much better, but the Saints obviously had the same record, but the Buccaneers got it on a tiebreaker. I'm not sure what tiebreaker that was, but they did get the tiebreaker. But I don't even think they're the best team in their division. I don't think they're going to win. I think the Eagles go to Tampa Bay and beat them like they did earlier this season. I'm going to say 20-16. I think it's close, probably a lot closer than we think. I kind of think it's going to be an ugly game. I feel like this is a game where you could see a lot of turnovers. You could see some kind of questionable decision-making on both sides because I really don't think that either of these teams are great. I don't think either of these teams are Super Bowl-level teams, but I'm going to go 2016 Eagles get the job done. All right, the next game, Rams against the Lions. This is the game that I'm really interested in because I think this is the best storyline. Matthew Stafford going back to Detroit, the team that he played for 11 years, or 12 years, I think. And now he's back in Detroit for a playoff game, a road playoff game. This is going to be a really good game. I think both of these teams are really good. Both these teams a little bit weak on the defensive end of the football, but Jared Goff and Matthew Stafford have both been playing out of their minds. In the month of December, these two quarterbacks might have been, in December, the best quarterbacks in the league were Lamar Jackson, Jordan Love, Jared Goff, and Matthew Stafford. So they are both playing so well right now. I'm really excited to see this game. I think Lions are going to edge them out just barely. I'm going to go Lions here. I don't know. I think this could be a game-winning field goal kind of game. I'll say 27-24. I think that feels about right. I think there's some points being scored in this game. Both teams put up 3 touchdowns. And yeah, I think this could be a game-winning kick for Detroit, and I'm going to give them the win, A, because of home field advantage, and B, because I think Jared Goff is feeling the revenge factor. I think Stafford kind of already got his revenge because he won the Super Bowl the year after leaving, whereas Goff, he hasn't really had the chance to get that revenge yet, so I think he gets his revenge tomorrow night. All right, Packers-Cowboys, this is going to be a good game as well, but I don't really think Green Bay is going to win. Green Bay, let's use some logic here. I said we're going to use some logic and reason. Green Bay is the youngest team. Not only are they the youngest team in the playoffs this year, but they are the youngest team ever to make the playoffs. Young teams usually don't do super well in the playoffs. The Seattle Seahawks, I believe, are the youngest team to ever win the Super Bowl when they did it in 2013. But even then, they were almost a full year older on average than the Packers. So I don't think the Green Bay Packers, I think the youth is going to catch up to them. And so I'm going to predict that they will lose this game in Dallas. I think they keep it close early, but I think the Cowboys pull away later in the game. I'm going to say 24-13. I think this is a two-score game. It might be like 17-13, and then Dallas pulls away with a touchdown in the fourth quarter to kind of put the game away. So, yeah, so I got Dallas advancing, Detroit advancing, and Philadelphia advancing. So all three teams with the better records wind up advancing in the wildcard round. And now we'll do the wildcard round for the AFC, starting with today's matchup, the Browns against the Texans, 5 versus 4. And the Browns won this game, I believe it was 4 weeks ago. But the X factor is that in that game, the Texans were not starting CJ Stroud. It was Case Keenum who was in that game. It was a 36-22 win for the Browns. So they beat him by 2 scores, but without CJ Stroud. And I do think CJ Stroud plays a factor. I think he is a really talented player. I think he's a difference maker in this game. And so I'm actually going to pick the Texans to win, to get revenge on Cleveland. Cleveland's got a good defense, but Houston's got a really good offense. And even without Stroud, they put up 22 against Cleveland's great defense. I think this time they put up probably closer to 30. I'm going to go 27-23. Texans win by 4 at home. CJ Stroud plays out of his mind. And Joe Flacco, for all that he has done for the Browns, I don't really trust him. I know you say, well, look at how good he's done in the playoffs. And he has done pretty well in the playoffs, but also most of that playoff success came from 2 playoff runs early in his career. If you look at after 2014, I believe he has not won a playoff game since 2014. He lost in the playoffs multiple times later in his career, and that was actually one of the reasons why the Ravens drafted Lamar in the first place, was because they couldn't trust Joe Flacco in big games. And so I don't think Flacco is going to continue playing as well as he has. I think he throws a couple interceptions, and the Texans will win this game by 4. All right, Chiefs against the Dolphins. Another great storyline here. Tyreek Hill going back to Kansas City for a playoff game. The Dolphins have a better record, but the Chiefs did beat them earlier in the season in Germany, so not even at their home field. The factor that plays into this game is that the Chiefs, so the Dolphins have not won a game with Tua Tagovailoa at quarterback when the temperature is below 40. He is 0-9 when the temperature is below 40. And Kansas City, the weather this weekend, the weather for, I believe it's tonight, 5:30, if it stands, which I think it's going to. They postponed Buffalo's game, but I don't think they're postponing this one. The weather's going to be like below 0. And Tua has not shown us that he is capable of playing well, of even playing competent when the weather is that cold. He really, really struggles. He's a warm weather quarterback. And that's why they needed home field. I mean, they really did need home field, and Buffalo took that away from them. So I'm going to go the Chiefs here. I think this is a pretty good pick. I feel pretty confident about picking the Chiefs to win this game. All right, finally, Pittsburgh-Buffalo. And the thing about this game is I don't think either of these teams have a really good shot at winning the Super Bowl. My reasoning, the Steelers, obviously, they have a backup quarterback, Mason Rudolph. You're not going to win the Super Bowl with Mason Rudolph at quarterback. No 7 seed has ever won a first-round playoff game before. Mike Tomlin, the coach aspect of it, this plays into this as well. Head coaches who have been with the team for 15 years, you know how many of those coaches won a Super Bowl after their 15th year with the same team? The answer is only 2, which is Tom Landry and Bill Belichick. So unless Mike Tomlin is Tom Landry or Bill Belichick, which I don't think he is, I mean, look, Tomlin won a Super Bowl in year 2, and it's now been 15 years. So the chances he wins another one are very slim. However, for Buffalo, the factor that plays into this is this interesting tidbit. No coach-quarterback duo has ever won their first Super Bowl together after year 5. And there's 2 teams that applies to. Right? Shockingly, out of the 14 teams in the playoffs, there are only 3 coach-quarterback duos who've been together for more than 5 years. That's crazy. You know who those three are? It's Lamar Jackson and John Harbaugh, year 6. It's Buffalo, right? McDermott and Josh Allen, year 6. And the other one, Mahomes and Andy Reid. But this doesn't apply to them because they've already won multiple Super Bowls together. But for Harbaugh and Lamar, and for Allen and McDermott, history tells you they're not going to win a Super Bowl because it's past year 5 and they haven't done it yet. So the chances that they actually pull it off in year 6 or beyond are slim to none because it's never, ever happened before. And so in this game, Pittsburgh-Buffalo, you're looking at two teams that I don't think have a realistic shot at winning the Super Bowl. So I'm going to go crazy with this prediction here. I'm actually going to predict that the Steelers will win this game. My reasoning is very simple. A, weather's going to play a huge factor. This is not going to be a high-scoring game. If there's any team that is best suited to go into a snowy game in Buffalo to play a low-scoring defensive game, you know who that team is? It's Pittsburgh. Even without TJ Watt, Pittsburgh is best suited to play that kind of scrappy, cold-weather defensive game. And B, I'm picking Pittsburgh to win this thing because I think Josh Allen's going to fall apart, and I think this time he's not going to have his team to save him. I think Allen throws a couple interceptions in the cold, in the snow. Ball's going to fly off his hands weird. Maybe he'll fumble. He's a turnover machine. And as talented as he is, I think the Steelers are going to be able to take advantage of those turnovers in a way that the Dolphins couldn't, and in a way that a lot of other teams haven't been able to. I got Pittsburgh winning this game. Low scoring. I'll go 20-10. 20-10 Steelers win this game. All right. Move on to the divisional round. We'll start with the NFC. So I've got the Eagles matched up against the 49ers. And this game, look, this is not even going to be close. I think Philadelphia, they've fallen apart down the stretch, and what they've really fallen apart with is their defense, right? Philadelphia's defense is, I believe, bottom 5 now in yards, and last I checked, they were 30th in points per game allowed. So this would have to be a historically impressive, I mean, you've heard the title, defense wins championships. Everyone knows that. And the Eagles have a terrible defense. Have terrible defenses won Super Bowls before? Yeah, they have. You know, the Giants in 2011 had a really bad defense that year. The Patriots, the year the Patriots lost to the Eagles did not have a great defense that year. And the Chiefs, when the Chiefs won that first Super Bowl with Mahomes, their defense was very bad. So it is possible to win a Super Bowl with a terrible defense, but it's historically pretty unlikely. San Francisco is one of 3 teams to rank inside the top 10 in yards, points on both offense and defense. So San Francisco's dominating both sides of the ball all year long, and they already beat Philadelphia. In Philadelphia, they crushed them. So at San Francisco, I don't think the Eagles stand much of a chance. I'm going to go 27-17, 49ers win, and I don't even think it's going to feel that close. I think it's probably more like 27-10, and the Eagles kind of backdoor touchdown late in the game to make this score a little bit closer. But I think I'm going 27-17, and it feels like 27-7. I think the Niners dominate. And then the other one. This is the game that I've been back and forth on. Lions at Dallas. I think Dallas is the better team. Dallas is the only team in the NFL that has ranked inside the top 5 in yards per game and points per game on defense and offense. So they have been the most complete team this season in the NFL. And they lead the league in total offense. Dallas is really, really good. But the Lions, a month ago, came into Dallas in a stadium where nobody has beaten the Cowboys in 2 years. The Lions came into Dallas and had them beat. I mean, they had them beat. And a bad call by the referees screwed them over. But I think Detroit had them beat. I think Detroit's going to be feeling themselves. And so I'm actually going to go out on a limb here. And I'm going to take Detroit to win. I think it's very close. But I'm going to go Lions beating the Cowboys 23-21. 2-point game in Dallas. Look, Dallas hasn't made an NFC Championship game in 28 years now. It's been 28 years. I think that trend's going to continue. I'll take the Lions to win. All right, AFC divisional round. Texans against the Ravens. Now, I've already given you my spiel about why I don't think the Ravens can win the Super Bowl, but here's my spiel about the Texans. I have them beating the Browns, but never in NFL history has a rookie quarterback made it to the Super Bowl. Not won the Super Bowl, made it. So for CJ Stroud and the Texans to even make it to the Super Bowl it would be the first time ever. Plus a rookie head coach as well in DeMeco Ryans. I don't think that's going to happen. So I'll take Baltimore to win that game. Well, hang on. I think it'd actually be reseeded, though. I think it'd actually be reseeded, right? It would be Baltimore against... Do they do reseeding in the... Yeah, I believe... This is something I didn't even think of. Yeah, it would be reseeded. So it would be Baltimore against Pittsburgh. So for Baltimore-Pittsburgh... Oh, well, that's not even close. I mean, I picked the Steelers to beat the Bills. Kind of as a joke. Not really. I mean, I believe it. I think the Steelers will win. I'll stand by that. But I'm just kind of going for it with that one. You know, Steelers, Baltimore, that's not even close. Baltimore's dominated the Steelers this year. I believe they beat them twice. Let's look at the scores just to make sure. Well, the Steelers beat them. Okay, the Steelers beat them in January, 17-10. But the Ravens beat them the first time they played. I'm trying to find the score of that one. Okay, never mind. The Steelers beat them both times. Maybe the Steelers are going to win that game. Wow. That is... So the Steelers have beat Baltimore twice. They might be their kryptonite. Mason Rudolph? Could he go to the AFC Championship game? Could he take down the number 2 seeded Bills and the number 1 seeded Ravens? No way. No way. Ravens are that much better. 34-10. 34-10. I'll take the Ravens. All right. And then we got the Chiefs-Texans. And like I said earlier, the Chiefs, the Texans, rookie quarterback, never made the Super Bowl. So I'll take the Chiefs to win that. I'll go close. 2017. Chiefs win. So now you've set up 49ers against the Lions in the NFC Championship game. The AFC, you've got the Ravens against the Chiefs. Both very, very hype games. Oh, man. The Chiefs made it last year. So I'm not going to pick the Ravens to win the Super Bowl. I could pick them to make it, though. That's what I'm going to do. I think the Ravens will win. I think the Ravens at home in Baltimore, the Chiefs just haven't been that good this year. I don't think the Chiefs are going to make it. I'll go Ravens. 24-23. Close game. Chiefs receiver drops the ball towards the end of the game. Story of their lives this season. Ravens go to the Super Bowl. And then the NFC, I'm going 49ers. I think they're the most dominant team this year in the NFC. I'll go 30-20 over the Lions. And I think it feels about that. I think that score is going to feel about right. I think the Niners will lead for pretty much the whole game, 30-20. I like it. So that gives us the Super Bowl. 49ers against the Ravens, and you know who I'm going to pick because it's year 6 for Harbaugh and Lamar, which means they're not winning it. I don't think they're going to. Give me the 49ers, baby. It hurts me as a Seahawks fan to say this, but I think they're the best team in the NFL. Look, the Ravens beat the 49ers by a lot earlier this season. I know they did. But where this factors in is Lamar always beats NFC teams. And the reason he does is because they don't know what's about to hit him, right? They don't know what's coming at him. But now they do, right? Now they know because they've just played him, right? They just played him a month ago. So they know exactly what's coming at him. They can watch that film. They can study that game. And I think you're going to see a much different look 49ers defense in this rematch against Lamar. I think they're going to be able to stop Lamar the way that they couldn't earlier. Still a close game. I'm going to say 23-20. 49ers win it. Christian McCaffrey with a game-winning touchdown to win Super Bowl MVP. And San Francisco, world champions. That's my prediction. And I feel pretty good about it. So there you go. We'll see you guys in the next one. This is Coast to Coast Sports. Like, subscribe, comment down below for more content.